Right, welcome to another Arcade Attack podcast. Adrian here, I'm your host today. Today I want to visit a certain karate game. Before I open the dojo, let's welcome our fellow karate experts. We got Dylan.
Oh no, really? Are we going to do that?
We've opened the can of worms. We got Keith.
Hi.
Oh no, and Rob.
Hi.
We apologise to all of our
Japanese.
Keith. We apologise now to all of our Japanese listeners. That'll be the end of
it. Comes from a place of love. Yeah,
we love
outside
Japan.
of Japan do karate.
No,
well,
yes.
Outside of
it's
Japan,
funny you should say that, Rob.
because in this very room you're looking at a certain person who did jujitsu growing up.
I did
It's not karate.
Tumbleweed.
I did judo. If you want to get into it,
Jujitsu.
Judo.
I did 2 lessons of judo. Doesn't really count. My brother did karate.
There you
so,
go.
you know.
I did Sega the Master System.
Now that is offensive.
I sounded like Mario.
Yeah.
Sega the Master System.
Back to my jujitsu story. What belt did you think I achieved in this certain
Black belt.
black belt? You are looking, and I don't quite believe how I got this because I certainly didn't earn it. Brown belt in jiu-jitsu.
Wow, that's like the second one down.
Yeah, it's pretty good, right?
Oh man, I'm looking.
How long did you do jujitsu
It's
for?
literally the first I've ever heard
Excuse
of
the high pitch of my voice. I'm incredulous.
See, that tumbleweed's not tumbleweed anymore, isn't
No,
it?
it's not
What
tumbleweed,
is
it's
going
not
on?
Well,
tumbleweed.
I did jiu-jitsu with my brothers. My brother Mike and then Chris, my younger brother, joined a bit later for quite a few years actually at the South Croydon Church Hall. That's quite near your house.
Love that church hall.
Every Tuesday for an hour, I would
Wow.
go down with my brother or brothers, depending on when it was, and I probably did it for about 3 or 4 years.
You think you know someone?
I know, right?
And then they go and unleash that.
Unleash their jujitsu prowess.
For the vast majority of that time, my jiu-jitsu master was a guy called Len. And he looked,
Sensei Len.
Sensei Len.
Sensei
And he
Len.
looked like a proper villain from a Van Damme film. Greased back hair, kind of, handsome, tough, but kind of sort of dead eyes.
Okay.
So Steven Seagal.
He looked a bit like Steven Seagal, actually. He actually did, with sort of ponytail but greased back. He was very good at jiu-jitsu. He was tough. He wasn't the best teacher. He kind of let us get on with stuff. He'd show a few moves and we just get
to
on
a
with
brown
it.
belt.
Yeah, but I probably didn't deserve it. If I'm being honest, it was
That's
almost
so humble of you. You would say that's very.
Who decides
That's very
when
karate
you
of you.
move to each belt?
well. There was kind of sort of
have
tests
a grading,
each
don't you?
year or every sort of 6 months, and it was kind of blasé. Basically, if you turned up every week, you pretty much got a new belt.
It's outrageous.
Well,
That's
so
contagious.
This is
Yeah.
contagious. Sorry.
what I'm saying is, you're looking at a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. Someone who probably didn't deserve a brown belt, but when I done jiu-jitsu, there was a certain video game that I tried to learn moves off. And
Street Fighter
use
2.
in said jiu-jitsu.
The ninja on the Master System, like I mentioned earlier.
Yes, the ninja on the Master System. The certain
Didn't
karate
the ninja
game.
on the Master System just
Well,
throw a shuriken?
I tried to
Yes.
mix.
Don't do that.
I tried to mix jiu-jitsu and karate together because I use certain moves from IK Plus, and I'll talk about these moves later. But some of them are pretty crazy, I tell you.
One is putting the disc into the computer.
It was a one-disc game, I believe. Yeah,
If you were in a jiu-jitsu tournament
yeah.
and you had to face off against one of your brothers and he
Yep.
got a little bit injured, would you sweep the leg?
I would sweep the leg.
Sweep the
I would
leg.
sweep the leg. Cobra
No
Kai.
mercy.
Sweep the leg. No mercy. Yeah, I would actually. And I'll do the crane kick as well for good measure. Why not?
Nice.
IK Plus. What does IK Plus stand for?
I kill you. Plus.
Plus more. It's pretty obvious.
International Karate.
Plus, correct. It is.
Oh, that was the section where you come up with hilarious guesses.
I'm not clever enough to do that.
Before we all knew what the actual thing was called.
Well, you know.
IK Plus,
Alright.
International Karate Plus, is a free fighter, I'm saying it, karate fighter game published in 1987 by System Free. So that they might have just got their name before we just chucked Free Fighters. Originally, what free platforms was it originally released for in 1987?
87.
Amiga?
Nope.
No?
I'm going
was
to
that
say... Oh...
C64.
DOS.
Yeah.
C64.
Okay.
DOS, no.
NES.
Nope.
87.
Amstrad.
Amstrad, yes.
Amstrad CPC.
Yep. And-
Atari something?
ST?
Lynx?
Nope. Got Commodore 64, Amstrad CPC, and the ZX Spectrum.
I was expecting a game.
Okay.
It was.
Ooh.
But since then, it's been ported to many, many, many platforms. And I'm actually holding one in front of you now.
I still can't quite believe this.
Yes.
Which I think
I like how you're holding it upside down as
Yeah.
well. That
I'm
gives
holding it upside down, actually. Sorry. We'll talk about that said version in a minute. But the full list is a Commodore 64, Amstrad, ZX Spectrum. Then it later went on to the Atari ST, the good old trusty Amiga, the Amiga CD32, the Game Boy Advance, the PlayStation, which is the copy I've got.
The Game Boy Advance.
Game Boy Advance, yeah. It
I think
came
it'd be
out.
pretty good
Wow,
on
so
the
that's a
Game Boy
long
Advance.
time after it originally came out.
was-
No, that's what I'm just thinking about when the Game Boy Advance.
It came out the same, it was released in the same year on Game Boy Advance as the PlayStation. I've got the date later on. I'll talk about it a bit later. And finally, the most recent version, whether you want to call it a version, is the Virtual Console. It was available on the
Virtual Console.
Yeah.
We're allowed that. Who made... Well, we know System 3 developed and published this game, but what gaming legend actually made this
The
game?
legend himself.
The legend himself.
It's an Archer McLean game,
It's
isn't
an
it?
Archer McLean. An Archer McLean game. What series of games is he also very well known for?
The snooker pool game.
Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker,
He
that
is.
one?
He is.
Or Archer McLean's pool.
I call him Archer McLean. It could be McLean. I don't know how you pronounce it, but we like
I
him.
think you call him McLean.
McLean.
We don't want to offend him. We actually, I'm a big fan. He's made some good games, and he pretty much made this game single-handedly. Although, who did the music?
Is it
Joe
someone that we've
Satriani.
Someone we've
interviewed?
spoken to.
Alistair Brimble.
Nope.
Oh.
In real life, or
Rob Hubbard.
Rob Hubbard, yeah.
Oh,
There you
cool.
go. We
That's
like good
pretty
old Rob
cool.
Hubbard.
We do
Boom.
like
Yeah.
Rob
I
Hubbard.
could have guessed a long time before coming up with that. But
Well, there you go. So some big names, not a lot of names attached to this game, but it wasn't the first game in the series. It's actually a sequel.
Is it the sequel to International Karate?
It is a sequel to International Karate.
Again, Keith just
I
misses
just
the
like
boat on
being
that
right.
because
I just like
I was
being
gonna
right.
say IK minus.
IK minus. IK multiply.
Yeah. See? Nice loss.
If this wasn't
It's
your
lost.
house, I'd give you a tumbleweed.
Before I go,
You can give me tumbleweeds. I don't get offended.
before I talk about the first game in the series, it's quite interesting that when the C64 version was first released in the US, not Europe, but US, it was actually titled Chop and Drop. Capital N. What was that
Chop and Drop.
I
GTA
love
name?
it. Oh, Race and Chase.
Race and Chase.
Race and chase.
Chop and Drop.
Chop and drop.
Chop and drop.
Chop, drop and roll.
Can you imagine those four? Like, chop and drop, chase and race and chase.
Chop and drop.
Oh, I don't know. But yeah, the first game, which I haven't played, I put my hands up, but that was made in 1985. So this new expanded version came out a couple of years later. Interested. What is the whole point of karate? What's the world championships? How do you get points? What's the whole point of it? Do you
It's
think?
to kick someone in the face and you win.
You sweep the leg, bish bash bosh. Well, look, you have to win. The objective of World Karate Championship is to get the highest possible Dan, which is a karate grade, which is your belt color, and hopefully become the world champion. And of course, get the highest score as well. The first game here, the karate fighters compete against each other on side view screens, and the scenery represents real world locations. We've got New York, Egypt, Japan. We've got lots of places all around the world. In the second game, there's one location.
There is one so they've actually minus.
They minus locations, but I'm going to defend the minus in locations later because I think the new location's pretty cool. So it's a typical fighting game. I think the first game was well received, nothing spectacular. It was good. Okay, it was a well polished game. It was good apparently. It wasn't anything major. There was quite a few karate games at the time. IK Plus is when it went up a notch, that's for sure. Before I stop talking about the first game, because I haven't really played it, I've just watched it on YouTube a bit and read about it. There was an interesting lawsuit against this game. Any ideas why this game was taken to court? We're talking about the first international karate game.
I'm guessing there's some International Karate Association, and they thought they should have been owed money as part of some licensing dispute.
That's close. That's very close. It's actually a lawsuit from a rival video game company who made a similar game.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, after the release of World Karate Championship in the US, so International Karate was called World Karate Championship in the US, so that's why it's taken to court. It Epix, which is the publisher of this game, was sued by a competing video game publisher, Data East, for infringement of copyright, trademark.
East.
Yep, infringement of copyright, trademark, and trade dress. The dispute was about similarities to the 1984 arcade game Karate Champ and its home computer adaptations in 1985. So International Karate used the same coloured figures and had the same point system. Is that a bit too close?
I don't know. If you're going to make a game about a realistic karate tournament, it's going to be quite similar.
Exactly.
It's like saying all football games are the rules are the same.
We have 1-0 and 2-0. How dare you use the same scoring system? The initial trial was that the decision actually went against Epix, and so Data East actually did win. They agreed that they were found guilty of infringing the copyright on Karate Champ. And Data East obtained a permanent injunction against Epix, and
I cannot believe that even happened.
No. I know, but an impoundment that restrained Epix from further sale or distribution of World Karate Championship. Epix was required to recall from both customers and distributors all copies of the infringing work.
Recall it from customers.
How crazy is that?
That is madness.
Wow.
How would that even happen?
A little bit like the end of Karate Kid. There's a little twist in the tale, isn't there?
Oh yeah.
Because the decision was appealed to the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. There you go. Who in November 1988 reversed the decision, stating that while the game was similar, it was not identical, and that one game company cannot monopolize one entire sport.
God
there you go.
for
Yeah.
that.
Could you imagine?
Common sense prevails.
A slight last bit of this story. As a result, Melbourne House did not sue System 3 nor Epix, as the game The Way of the Exploding Fist is also very similar. So apparently, I think another games company was thinking of getting the muscle in.
I remember playing that on the Spectrum.
Ooh, I never played that. What were your thoughts then?
The memories are vague. I really remember the title screen and the box. It had a very, very angry karate dude on the box.
Way of the
And just obviously the title just sticks in the mind as well.
It's a good title.
You really got to have an angry karate dude. I mean, you can't have like one with a
come
smile.
on, yeah.
You're gonna be like
The Way of the Exploding Fist. It's not there. It doesn't work.
Could you imagine though, if this lawsuit went ahead and stayed? A video game, if FIFA,
So
EA owned
ridiculous.
FIFA football games, and
it would be so ridiculous.
Yeah, they're trying, aren't they?
they are trying.
They almost do.
I now want to talk about IK Plus, one of my favourite Amiga games of all time. Huge game of mine. I don't know if Dylan, you've played it. You're a big Amiga advocate over
I've
here.
had a little whirl back in the day.
little kick and a punch here and there.
Yeah, a bit of a miss kick or a miss punch, as the case may be.
It's a good game, IK Plus. It's a really solid, fun game.
That's why you brought us here today. You're like,
Good by
It's an okay
PlayStation
game.
standards, or
Well, I'm going to ask that question later. But for the even for the
PlayStation.
Amiga, the graphics aren't amazing. They're just basically taking the previous versions, tidying up the graphics a little bit, making it a bit brighter. It's not a huge, amazingly graphical game, but I'll talk about that and how I don't think that's really an issue.
What makes it so great?
that's the thing.
The thing
Isn't it?
is, the gameplay is absolutely incredible. The graphics, the animation is smooth. Okay, the graphics are quite simple, but the animation of the characters, the hit detection is perfect. It's just so fun to play, and it's got a cheeky little bit of sense of humour in it as well.
Okay.
Good measure. I'll tell you what, I was pretty good at IK Plus, but my brother Mike was amazeballs. He
I
actually,
can't believe you just said amazeballs.
Oh, on a
I
podcast.
said-
yeah, what year is this?
We've gone a whole 70, 80 odd episodes without anyone saying amazeballs.
Sorry, I said it. He was very good though. I remember very, very distinctly once he actually played the game and he got brown belt in the game. And if people were listening right now, that's a big deal.
Is it like you? Were
You said you got
should
brown
just-
belt without trying.
Yeah.
In real life.
In video
You should have gone. You should have said,
Yeah.
"I did it in real life." You know, it's like if someone threw Hadouken in a video game, you could just go, "I threw it in real life." That'd be much more impressive.
Well, I asked Mike about IK Plus, and I think he's more proud of the brown belt he got in the video game as opposed to what he got in real life, because he got a brown belt as well. I can't confirm that's what he said, but that's what I think. Yeah, it's now a PlayStation game. When was it released on the PlayStation?
Got to be 97.
This is going to blow your mind.
I
go on.
actually think it's later because I think it was something they
What?
probably put together for next to no money.
Actually, yeah, he said it came out around the same time as the Game Boy Advance one, so it would be later.
It was later.
About
I
what
think
do you reckon?
99.
Yeah.
I think it was ready actually later.
2000.
You ready for this?
Go on.
This copy of which cost me about £15. Yeah, it's got a bit of money. It was released in 2003.
Shut the front
by
door.
Ignition Entertainment.
Did you say shut the front door?
Yeah.
We've had a mate call to shut the front door.
What next? What next? Outdated references.
That's incredible. That a PlayStation 1 game, 2003. Absolutely crazy. I was going to say cray, but we don't want to go too mad.
Oh, we almost went 80 podcasts without anyone saying cray.
Cray.
There you go.
It was converted. This version, the PlayStation version, was not converted by Archie Maclean or Maclean. It was made by Jim Bagley, and we like Jim Bagley.
Like a bit of Jim, yeah, bit of Jim.
He's a good, respected programmer. Let's talk more about the game and how it was developed. Let's go back. Let's rewind the clock a little bit. So we spoke about Archie Maclean was pretty much the man behind this game. The music was written by Rob Hubbard, but the music for the Amiga version was arranged by Dave Lowe, bizarrely. I've got a great interview here, unfortunately not for us, but Archie gave a great interview to Edge Online in 2009. And he spoke about the making of this game. It's very, very interesting. So the first question was the free player concept present from the start? Now that's unusual. That is unusual. Name me another fighting game. 2-on-2. It's not really a two,
No, it's always usually one-on-one fighting game.
How does that work though? Like in terms of gameplay, you gonna come onto that later?
I'll come on to that. I do explain it. It's pretty.
You
clever.
have to beat the other guys up.
You do, but,
But in terms of gameplay,
there's a bit more to it. So, do you want to hear some quotes? So, was it supposed to be free player from the start, or free players on the screen at least? Yeah, absolutely. I had the idea at the back end of the IK1 development. I wanted to introduce the third player because it meant it was a free-for-all melee. One player against two computer players, or two players against each other and a computer player, or two players against a computer player. You were given the choice to cooperate. And I love that. And this is something that me and my brothers used to do. We'd play the game together. It's all against all, but you could strategize a little bit. You could pick on the computer player and purposely try and not fight your brother, and you can go up in belts. And another bit of that's quite interesting in the game, I think, is as soon as you in the middle of a fight, your belt can change. You can get a white belt to red belt, a brown belt to black belt straight away. It just changes mid-fight. I think if you lay a punch, you get enough points, your belt can change. That is pretty cool. So there's some good belts there.
What sound effect is there when your belt changes?
I don't know if it makes any sound effects, truthfully.
Wow.
Your belt has changed.
I think it should be something like...
Belt change.
Power
initiated.
Yes, I like that.
The game's moves.
It'd be like King Arthur, the Knights of the Round, when like you get a certain amount of points and your armor powers up.
That's what it should be.
That's what it should be.
That's what it should be. You know what? There's a lot of moves in this game. There's a lot of moves. I'll talk about the moves in a bit more detail, but Archie goes in a bit of detail. One of my favourites is the headbutt. It is one of my favourites as well.
Is that an officially recognised karate move?
In IK Plus it is.
Okay.
In IK Plus it is.
Remember, they couldn't officially license anything.
And the headbutt is so quick. He says it's quick. There are 2 frames of animation, and the speed is pretty spot on. It's like, and you can literally headbutt really quickly.
Are they the noises the game makes, or the noise you make when you play it?
I'm kind of trying to imagine the game here, but you can literally headbutt like you're doing a crazy walk, and it's really quite satisfying if you make contact with the headbutt. A Glasgow kiss, if you will. And it's worth a lot of points.
Oh, okay.
It's worth a lot of points, I tell you. Another move. It was spectacular if you got it right. This is what Archer says. Was the double face kick. I kid you not. You can do a double face kick, and it was inspired by Jackie Chan in the Cannonball Run. Inspired by that. So there's one point where he's having a fight with 2 bikers, and he suddenly jumps up and cracks both of them in the face at the same time. It's very, very impressive, and apparently it was real. He really did break one of the guy's jaws doing this. It just looked at it and thought, wow, I've got to have that, and then spend ages trying to draw it. So how cool is that? You can potentially hit 2 people at the same time by doing the crazy...
That is pretty cool.
The pretty crazy double... the double face kick.
It must be quite hard though, especially because you're reliant on both your opponents being in exactly the right spot.
It's like thinking back and see how many times you've seen a shooting star. That's how many times you've made your double leg kick hit both faces at once. It doesn't happen often, Keith, but when it does,
Satisfying.
you remember it all right. The animation. He goes into loads of detail here. It's really interesting. I've always been able to draw and animate cartoons, although it's often a very painstaking process. There were loads of karate games around the time. Karate Champ, Fist, for example, which was a big favourite of mine, and a lot of them featured all the same sort of moves. I wanted to do something that was different. Now to the something like the backflip. Now you can do lots of cool backflips here. Really, really excellently animated, which hadn't been put in a game before. I tried all sorts of things. One was just drawing it, but I couldn't get the flow of it right. Then I went out and bought a video camera and filmed myself jumping around. That didn't work either. I'm assuming he's not the most flexible person. Can you imagine us trying to film a backflip? I think it wouldn't go down well.
Are you suggesting most game programmers aren't the most...
Can't do backflips.
Can't do backflips. Yeah.
Well, Archer's big enough to admit that, to be fair. How do you think what was the thing that inspired him? What was the big thing that he that managed to get this amazing animation in place? It's a certain film.
Ooh. Film with backflips in.
You're going to have to give us at least some clue for this.
Yeah, go on.
It's a musical.
Oh, I can see it in my head, but I can't remember which one it is. It's like a big musical number, and I think it's like they go to the wall. Literally, like they kind of... It's 2 steps on the wall, and they flip over, but I can't think what it is.
I'm not sure. Well, I'll give you another clue. This will clinch it now. It stars a certain John Travolta.
Yeah, Grease.
Yeah, Grease, yeah.
In fact, I can tell you which dance it is.
Okay.
It's the one for when they're fixing the car. It's Grease Lightning.
Grease Lightning.
Right?
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Grease fan.
No, I mean,
And I'm pretty sure that's how they do it. Like, they kind of they go up to the wall, like, take 2 steps and then flip over.
Wow.
I'm not 100% on
So
that.
that was
Or maybe it could be off the boot of the car.
Well, do you want to hear Archer's take on things? He said, one afternoon, I happened to be watching Grease with my girlfriend. At the very end
Yeah, with his girl.
of it, there's a
He was
fairground
enjoying it
scene.
on his
There's a
own.
fairground scene. And
Oh, yeah, right at the end.
And in the background, sideways on, there's a guy doing a backflip. I watched it over and over and over and said, that's it. A real person doing proper backflip. It was perfect. Can you imagine him rewinding that and just watching it? His girlfriend thinking, what the...
Yeah, what are you doing?
I think rather that than him rewinding it to the bit where, like, Olivia Newton-John goes, stud.
Well,
Anyone who's watched that knows how awesome that bit is.
Stood. Equipped with an expensive video recorder with a suitably static pause function, Maclean performed minor surgery on his television, opening and adjusting it in order to vertically stretch the figure to the size he required for IK+. So he actually made the screen the right size for the character. I then placed a piece of cellophane over the TV, froze the frame, then drew an outline around it with a pen.
It's got to be hard when you consider videos back then, and when
Yeah,
you
it must
pause
be.
a video, it just jumps, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of jumpy, and you
Yeah.
never get the frame you actually want.
No, exactly.
Well, he said I'd advance it by 2 frames, then draw the
There
next
you go.
piece of animation. I did dozens. I then took the cellophanes and put it over my computer screen, painstakingly recreating each image in pixels. That then formed the primitive motion capture, which gave me the speed of body
He
movement.
did motion capture. He's
Yeah.
literally done
Like
motion
you say,
capture
yeah,
with a bit of
primitive
tracing
version
That's
later.
how
of-
he did
yeah.
it. And the backflip is absolutely incredible. It's brilliant animation.
That's some
It's a
dedication.
really quick way of moving across the screen. It's the quickest way of getting
Right.
from one side to the other. You'd think walking is, but it's not. Trust me, backflipping is the best. And it looks awesome. The animation in this game is incredible, and fair play to Archer. He was trying new things out, and I respect him for that. One fixed screen. The
Yeah,
game
there
has
is one,
one fixed screen.
Yeah.
Doesn't have any other locations. One location, purely fixed. Doesn't move left and right. Does that sound bad?
No, I quite like games that just have one static screen, as the listeners will know. So,
Yeah.
Do you know what? It works perfectly for this game. It's perfect. The screen is quite zoomed out. The characters are quite small anyway. That it's so vibrant and colourful. It's like a beautiful scene. I assume it's in Japan or China. I don't quote me where it's from, but
Is it with?
Love
It's
Japan.
got like the red. Is it like
Yeah.
almost like a gate?
it's got a red
Yeah.
gate in the
That is
background.
Japan.
A beautiful sea. And do you know what? There's a few Easter eggs as well that pop out in the background, which I'll talk about a bit later. So like I said, there's 3, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, I'm sure now, karateka. There are 3 karateka fighters against each other. I thought
Sounds
Keith would
about
correct
right.
me then.
yeah,
sounds
I
fine.
think that's pretty good.
And you fight on this lovely beach, trying to be the first to score 6 points. Now, I didn't do karate growing up, so I can't tell you if 6 points is the official point score. I was a jiu-jitsu man myself, but you had the first to 6 points wins. How can someone win if there's 3 players, though? How can you determine who gets knocked out?
One has to be killed.
Yeah, to the bitter end.
Fight to the death. Yeah.
It's a point system. So if you got 6 points, the person that got 4 points or 4 hits, or whatever you're going to call it, would go through, and the person who maybe got 1 hit would be knocked out. But then you play another round, and all of a sudden there's still 3 fighters again. But obviously, as you progress in the game and your belts improve, the players get more difficult. The fighters get more difficult. After every 2 rounds, there is a bonus game. There's a bonus game. And this is either deflecting bouncing balls or kicking away
bouncing balls
bombs.
Thing. Yeah.
And do you know what?
Bombs?
Where
did they come
they're
from?
quite
It's not as good as barrels in a winery,
Or
is it?
smashing up someone's car.
Do you know what?
Easy, boys.
Easy now, because I think actually my brother Mike made a good point about this.
This was 87.
This was 87, and he said, and I don't know when Street Fighter 2 was made for the arcades, but he said that maybe this game,
91.
this was maybe the game that gave the idea
Could
for fighting
be.
games to
No,
be
it could
bonus
be.
rounds.
But when was the original Street Fighter made?
That was 87, wasn't it?
88? No. Oh.
I think it was
I think
87.
it was 87.
Well, I'm going to
But
say,
I don't know if that has bonus
I'm going to
stages.
say Archer invented this, so there.
Okay.
I can't guarantee
We'll
that.
give it to Archer. Yeah, we'll give it to him.
But the bonus games are great. I love it. The bouncing ball game, what do you have to deflect the balls away?
Just
Your fists
palm,
and your
isn't it?
feet.
Incorrect.
Is it?
You have a shield. You have
shield, that was it.
Karate shield.
We're
The
on
noise of when you literally, it's like you can basically move left or right, up, middle, down. So you've got 6 kind of areas to sort of deflect, and the noise it makes if you get the balls.
So is it like Pong?
Ping! It's like Pong. You
But with
back
your-
away. Of course, the bouncing balls speed up, don't they? The
course.
further you get, it gets quite tough, and you have to go left and right. Ding, 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 ding. And what's quite interesting is you eventually get these bouncing heads that come in, real like karate heads that come in. They make a sort of a thud noise. Maybe try and reenact it. Oh no, that's it. A kind of thud noise against the shield.
I looked this up,
Go on then.
and I can tell you when the actual dates were.
Oh, go on.
Here we go. Archer wins. Surely.
Archer, this game came out, first release October 1987 on the Virtual Console C64. Roughly about a few weeks after Street Fighter came out in the arcades on August 30th.
Ooh.
But I don't know if the original Street Fighter had
I
bonus
don't
levels.
think
so,
the original Street Fighter did have it.
So I think maybe he might have invented that particular kind of thing.
Let's give it to
good.
Archer. Let's
We'll give it to Archer. We like Archer. It's such a fun game, and do you know what? One of the not issues, but one of the things I think that could be improved is they could have literally said in the PlayStation version or whatever, just play the bonus games. They're that fun. You just have a sort of mini game against your friends. I'd play that definitely. How about also when you have your shield, quite a nice little touch. When you first have the shield, it's a very small IK Plus symbol. You've seen the logo; it's almost unreadable.
Yeah.
But if you get to a certain point, the shield is literally covered with the logo, huge IK Plus. So little things like that, almost like a sort of nod that you're doing well. I think makes a little difference in this game.
Yeah, nice touch.
If you are having bombs thrown at you, what's the best way of getting rid of said bombs?
Give it a kick.
Give it a kick. Don't run the opposite direction. Kick him
Kick
away.
it.
Yeah.
If you run away and let them explode, you don't die, but you get no points. So you have to be brave in this mini game. You have to kick away the bombs.
Okay.
Just like Bomberman.
Just like Bomberman. He was ahead of his time, Archer, wasn't he?
This is like, giving ideas to everyone.
And they're good fun. The kicking the bombs, kicking the bombs,
Kicking the balls.
bombs away is a good fun game. And you have to be brave. You have to judge your kicks well. And they're not just normal kicks. You have to do the sweet kicks. I'm kicking Dylan there. Sorry, Dylan.
Thanks, mate. It's all right.
But you have to do the right kick. And if you judge it wrong, you don't kick the bomb away, and the shrapnel can hit you quite badly. Oof. The C64 version of the game only had the ball bouncing bonus game, but not the...
How do the bonus games end? Are they timed or...
Well, no, as soon as you get knocked out, as soon as a bomb explodes.
explodes.
But it does get very hard.
What about the ball?
As soon as you get hit,
Okay.
you go... You fall to the ground.
It makes a chicken noise.
Yeah, like a chicken noise. So after every 2 rounds, as long as you're still alive, you do a bonus game. And you that racks up the points, and I assume that goes towards your next belt as well. So the game can be played 1 or 2 player. At least one fighter is always controlled by the computer. Or is it? Oh, I'll leave that there for a little bit. But the game itself, it's a 2-player game or 1 player, and there's going to be at least 1 computer player. I spoke there's 1 background, but in the certain versions, I believe it's the Amiga, Atari, and C64, you can actually recolor the background. So there's a few little keys, use your keyboard. Can't really do it on the PlayStation version, but there you go. But a few little keys change the colours in the background, and there's some nice, they call these background antics. So quite a famous video game character can sometimes pop across the background.
Ooh.
Who do you reckon that could be?
What
And I'm
company
not
was
sure
this?
if they're allowed to do...
Oh, is it a bit of a sneaky copyright?
Yeah, I don't know if they'd be...
Breach.
You shouldn't really be allowed to do this.
Pac-Man.
Yeah, it was Pac-Man.
Was it Pac-Man?
It was a kind of 3D-ish Pac-Man character would appear just pop along the right. Also, a
Interesting.
spider would descend as well. A little spider would come down from the gate and up again. And my favourite, actually, I don't know what's my favourite, a U-boat's periscope would appear out of the water. Look around. Then just go back down again. I'm like, obviously spying on the big karate match going on.
Why was it a U-boat and not an Allied submarine? What was the
Could be.
giveaway?
Okay.
Yeah.
A submarine.
It's a submarine, yeah.
A submarine.
Here we go. I love this. If you press a certain key, I think this is on all versions of the game. It's also on the PlayStation version. You can make all the fighters' trousers fall down. I kid you not.
That's
Okay.
nice.
I can't tell you the exact key, but I believe it's for the PlayStation version. I think it's the select button. If you press select, the free trousers, you don't see anything, you know, it's well covered. It's all good, but you can actually stop in the play mid-game and make people's trousers fall down.
But don't they have belts?
The belts aren't very good. They're not very, very good. And if you type, this is interesting, on the Amiga version, if you type in some quite rude 4-letter swear words, the game would respond first by rebuking the player for their use of language, and if you do it a second time, the game would reset. So don't swear on the Amiga version.
Oh.
No typing swear words.
Oh, yeah.
I know, right. Do you know what? This was probably a game that really taught me a lot about video games, in the sense that it didn't have to have amazing graphics to be a great game. It taught me from an early age. Because think about it, Rob, I probably played this in 1987, 1988. I was probably about 6 or 7 at the time. I don't know what. But,
Great graphics do not make a great game.
and this showed that you don't need...
That's true.
Not necessarily.
Isn't it?
We're definitely going to have to release these in the right order.
Yes, we released these
Yep.
in the right order. Don't worry.
It's simple graphics, but like I said there, guys, the animation is very fluent and the hit detection is amazing. Okay, if you have to time your headbutt. Obviously, it's easy to land the punch. It's not worth as many points. It's not. I think a headbutt gives you 2 points on the
Would you rate it as good as Bushido Blade?
better?
Oh,
Better. Bushido Blade.
That was me going.
Oh.
Was there ever a sequel to IK Plus?
Bushido Blade. No.
IK minus.
You went there.
You did it. IK times.
Interesting.
IK2 minuses make a plus.
There was an International Karate Deluxe game dubbed
Deluxe.
IK
Okay.
Plus Plus. I'm not even joking.
IK plus, but a plus plus only makes a plus though. So it's the same game.
But it was ready but unreleased. So that's a shame. So it was made but never
Because they
released.
realised they were making the same game, they had to stop.
Possibly. I love this guy. I don't know who. I think his name is called Ninja. He's called himself Ninja. But
Like
this,
the Antwoord.
this guy,
Yeah. I'm Ninja.
But the Ninja, quite an interesting
Sorry.
program, has actually cracked the game IK Plus, and he's called it IK Plus Gold, and it's an unauthorized version of the game where you can actually play 3 players. So
that-
free players can
And
play
the
the
3
game.
players can melee.
Melee.
IK Plus Gold is a version of IK Plus or IK Plus Plus?
IK Plus Gold is a
IK
version of
Plus.
IK Plus, but it's been cracked
Right,
by
okay, gotcha.
Ninja.
Ninja cracked it. Cool, man. So we can play it on Arcade Attack, all 3 of us.
Potentially 2001.
Sorry, Rob.
Sorry, Rob.
We can't let everyone play.
Chappie is another robot with a personality.
Chappie.
We didn't say him like last time.
Oh, stop it with your robots with personality.
Yeah, this is a robot-free zone IK Plus. There's no
Robot
robots
free
in this.
zone, guys. Come on.
How was the game received, and did it win any awards?
I think the way that you said that with your eyebrows clearly means that it won many awards, and it probably ranks about 90%. 90%. I mean, in the late 80s, this must have been like mind blowing.
Yeah, pretty novel. But then again, wasn't Double Dragon out by this point?
Yeah, but collision detection was across
Yeah.
the platforms wasn't amazing.
Yeah.
Not nowhere near as good as the arcade. Whereas this
And, yeah.
sounds spot on.
It sounds, and I think pretty much every version is brilliant. I think there's not many stinkers out there. There's on a lot of platforms. I think they're all pretty much as top notch.
Give me some percentages.
Do you want to hear some?
Yep.
88% from the Games Machine,
That's stingy.
and they said TGM. There you go. So yeah, first looked at Arthur Maclean. I think they got it wrong here.
Arthur Maclean.
Maclean's. So TGM first. So the Games Machine first looked at Arthur Maclean's Fast and Furious beat 'em up as part of our martial arts action issue. The Amiga game plays the same as on the ST. The only difference are the slightly more attractive sunset effect and some enhanced music. Gratuitous pixel violence is especially good fun in IK Plus, a must for Amiga owning fans of the genre.
And was that contemporary, like that review?
No, it's 1989.
Okay.
Do you want to hear
No, that's why I think it's stingy. But anyway, carry on.
Amiga Power?
Oh, Amiga Power.
Which for some reason they
give it 5%.
Oh, they reviewed the budget re-release. I think it was a hit release.
Okay.
And that was a really good setup.
Right.
But it was re-released. They'd done a sort of follow-up review. But they only gave it 85. They said IK Plus is quite simply the best beat 'em up ever.
But 85. Okay.
It's just
On
so
the Amiga.
On the Amiga.
Okay.
It's just so pleasing
Brilliant.
in every way. I've never met anyone who didn't love it. Get it, and you can love it too. That's a good tip, isn't it?
nice.
For 85%.
I know, right? That's a bit harsh.
Well, we're talking about a game, we're talking about a magazine where they had 50 as the base. 85 is a long way over 50.
There is a long way over 50.
It's like a mega 85%.
That's a good name for a screenplay. You should do that. It's a long way over 50.
It is. What did Amiga Computing say about IK Plus?
Said it was the best thing since sliced bread.
They gave it 82.
No. Okay.
But I like this quote. I kept playing despite a hand which ached from gripping the joystick too hard and too long.
Don't grip
That's
your
what
joystick
he
too long.
said.
Rob, we're a family friendly podcast. Thank you. Do you want to hear some
We've
awards?
alienated a lot of people during this podcast.
Yeah.
Well, our one listener left is hello. He's still there.
Hello?
Amiga Power.
Archer was listening until they started calling him Arthur.
I
And
know
was it. He
that
switched
wasn't
off. He
my,
was
that
the
wasn't
last
my
one.
mistake. That was
TGM.
TGM. That's silly people at TGM.
Oh.
And that's
Amiga,
why we're still around and they aren't.
Yeah.
exactly.
In your face, TGM.
Amiga Power awarded it number 60 in the all-time top 100 Amiga games.
Ooh, what year?
1991. And here we go. In November 1994, so quite late, issue 50, this was voted the 7th best all-time top 50 C64 game.
Nice.
It was. And it was a winner of a Golden Joystick Award for best 16-bit soundtrack as well. So there you go.
16-bit.
Yeah, 16-bit
I guess that was
soundtrack.
on the Amiga.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah.
Nice.
Just to sort, we're getting towards the end. It's, I think we've got a few views there from respected journalists, but our Twitter followers chipped in a bit as well, didn't they?
They did.
They did. I chucked it out. I said, "What do you guys think of IK Plus?"
You did chuck it out.
It didn't quite Waluigi itself like before.
The
No, there
Waluigi
was
thing-
no Twitter storm about IK Plus.
No, it
No.
got a few friendly tweets. Do you want to hear them?
Yes.
We've got at Games the System Co. And he said, incredible game. We had IK Plus Gold running at a game night a few years back, and it was played more than any other game, including the ones on modern consoles. Still a marvel of game design after all this time.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I can't deny that. It doesn't, and do you know what? It's got that kind of simple graphics that doesn't mean hasn't lost its look in a sense. It's always been a kind of retro looking game, and I think that adds to it in a way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've got Anthony Durso here. We like Anthony Durso, Garfield. AK Garfield, and F Durso 224 Durso, that's his Twitter handle, and he said, really looking forward to listening what you have to say, Adriano. I love martial art titles in general. There you go. So hopefully he's enjoying the pod.
So there's a bit of praise for Adrian there.
I
as
think it was
opposed to
more praise for Adrian than the
IK
actual
Plus.
game.
I love Arthur Maclean.
He loves that. Just think how impressed he's going to be when he finds out you're an actual brown belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you're an actual brown belt.
Mind blown.
Minded blown.
Andrew Fisher at Merman 1974.
Oh yeah, Andy Fisher. Yeah, see him occasionally on things.
We
Yeah.
like him, and he says Amiga version is very good. Great music by Uncle Art, and the new bomb bonus round is fun. There you go. interesting. And my last tweet here was Exio at Exio_DDL. It says, awesome. I spent hours on it. Multiplayer turns the game into something crazy with your mates. It gives a real arcade spirit with the intense games. GFX were good, animation was smooth, sound effects were really good, and the theme will always be in my retro please.
Retro, please.
Many Easter eggs.
Retro, if you please.
Many Easter eggs. And like I said, guys, you can make trousers fall down. Name me another game where you can make someone's trousers fall down.
Hold on.
I'd really rather not.
Let us think about it.
This might take a while. Maybe a Legendary Larry game, but that's a different podcast altogether.
I'm sure I have seen it in a game before, though, in some context.
Make your trousers fall down.
Was there a humiliation thing in one of the Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Maybe.
Aha, maybe Mortal Kombat there was you get your pants down.
Mortal Kombat stole it, of course.
Yes.
Arcade Plus, the most influential game of all time.
Yeah.
It is. I think it is.
Do you want to hear some crazy facts just to finish off?
Crazy facts.
I love a crazy fact.
The initial Atari ST version of Arcade Plus was looking very shoddy. Looking bad. I'm not sure who made that version, but Archer Maclean was not impressed with the Atari ST conversion, so he stepped in and do it himself. And do you know what's really clever? He'd never programmed on an ST ever before. So he thought, this ain't a good version, I'll do it myself, thank you very much.
He's a clever man, come on.
He is a clever man.
He's been around since we were like tiny and, you know.
Since I was faking brown belts in jiu-jitsu, he was actually making a proper kick-ass game.
Hey, come on, you weren't faking. It was more like the beginning of Rocky 3.
Yeah, just plodding along.
Yeah. You turned up, that was the main thing.
Yeah. It was hand-picked. That's what it was like.
Those sit-ups. All right, no more Rocky 3 quotes. All right. The cover. I'm about to show you the cover, actually. It didn't print out too well, but I think you can see this. The 1990 re-release of the Hit Squad budget label. Have you guys heard of the Hit Squad?
Hit Squad budget label games. Yep.
This was their best-selling game, the Hit Squad's game, apparently. And the new cover, I'm going to ask you, what martial art action movie heroes does this cover show?
Let's see.
It's kind of chopped up.
I can see it from upside down.
Yeah,
I can see it.
Name the three people.
There's.
Oh, yeah, I've got it here.
Okay, I can see the main one, obviously. Pretty sure I can see the second. I've got an idea.
Yeah, let's have a
one
look
on the left,
before you say it. Hold on.
It's more facial.
Oh my god, that's so obvious.
Yeah, like...
If you get this wrong now, it's going to be embarrassing.
Okay.
Let Dylan have a quick little peek.
Yeah, I've got the middle one. I've got the right one.
Because the middle one is like a photo of him. So, you know.
The left one is tenuous, but you could, because he's topless, you kind of know.
Who's the big guy? Who's the main face?
That's Steven Seagal,
It is Steven Seagal with some weird hair.
Who
other
never
characters?
did karate, FYI.
Chuck Norris?
Yeah, but 70s Chuck Norris when he was in that Bruce Lee.
Younger Chuck Norris,
correct.
And then the other guy would be a poor man's...
The other guy actually looked to me a little bit like a really young Lee Marvin.
Nope.
I know it's
is
not
it supposed
him,
to be Van Damme?
JCVD himself.
Yeah.
Let me have another look at that.
Let me see this Jean-Claude Van Damme of yours.
How did they find this artist who could either draw those people or found people who looked like all of
nothing
them?
like Van Damme. How did you get that?
Well, who knows? It's still pretty funny. There you go.
It is.
I mean, the other guy doesn't look like Chuck Norris either, but I can just tell by his beard and hair.
Exactly. The Seagal one, though, I mean, that's...
Yeah, it's literally kind of Seagal, but
Pretty
more hair
blatant.
than he's had since he was 21.
Boom. Sorry,
Steve.
Pretty blatant.
This was a popular game. And I said earlier it was Hit Squad's best ever budget-setting game.
Yeah.
What games did it outsell on that particular label? So obviously we're talking about re-release of the game Second Life.
On the Amiga.
Well, I think it was just the Amiga.
No?
Ice Climber?
Yeah, well, I haven't got it here, but I've got some... Well, do you want to chuck some more towards me?
We're talking 80s games.
Yeah, kind of late 80s games.
Oh, late 80s.
There's some big games here. You ready for... So,
go on.
Rainbow Islands.
Oh.
Bubble Bobble.
Nice.
Power Drift.
Yay!
Power Drift.
Batman the Movie.
Don't remember that. But...
Head Over Heels. And New Zealand Story.
New Zealand
remember
Story.
New
Nice
Zealand
game.
That's
Nice
quite a good
game.
game,
Big
actually.
games.
That's, it's a big
Pretty
seller.
big games.
People like this game. It has it, and do you know what? I bought this recently because I haven't got an Amiga anymore, so I bought it recently on the PlayStation, and I don't regret buying it. I had some super fun playing it.
How does it play on the
conversion.
PlayStation?
Brilliant. Yeah. It's brilliant. Actually, I wanted to talk before I stop rabbiting on. Where's my manual gone? I just want to quickly list off the moves, because the moves are pretty clever. There are a lot of moves in the game, and basically you can punch and kick by just pointing the directional pad in the right direction.
Oh,
So
okay.
you can move left and right, but if you keep the action button held down, the X button, while moving left and right, or diagonal up and down, you perform loads of different moves.
Bit like body blows.
A bit like body blows, but it's smoother than body blows.
It's smoother than body blows.
We've got the flying kick, the headbutt, the stomach kick, the high kick, the reverse foot sweep and turn, which are really, so you can face one way and do a reverse kick very quickly.
Nice.
Reverse face kick and turn around, the old backflip, and my personal favourite, the double face kick. There's also, we've got a jump up, we've got the front face punch, the walk forwards, ooh, controversial move there.
The walk forward.
The shin kick. We've got the foot sweep, the crouching stomach punch, and the walk backwards or block. And the I like this one backwards or block. And we've got the reverse face punch and turn around.
So literally 5 times as many moves as this another Amiga beat 'em up that came out.
Easy,
Like
sunshine.
a deck.
But you can't jump over each other in this game, can you, Adrian?
You can backflip. You kind of don't jump. You kind of go past them.
You can go past them, but you can't jump over them, can you?
No.
Can you go past them?
You can't jump over them, and this game was got in its late 80s and early 90s. So it shows that you don't need to jump over your opponent.
What's the
You
highest?
can go past them though.
You can go past. You can backflip past them.
All right then.
What's the highest?
Sunshine.
Sunshine.
There's 2 moves that can score you 1,000 points. Which 2 moves do you think can score the 1,000 points?
Double
The
face
kick.
Double face kick's one of them,
Headbutt.
and the headbutt. And that's followed. I'll give you a couple of ones with 800. We've got the front face punch, the reverse face punch, which looks awesome, by the way. The flying kick.
Apart from if you're getting punched in the face, it doesn't look so awesome from that angle.
The face kick and the back face kick. There's loads of moves, and you'd think, you can't just, it's not button smashing, because there's only one button to press really, so you have to think strategically. You have to think about your players around you, left and right. You know, you can change direction very quickly, you can do punches different ways. It's just a full action, top-notch game. I actually love it to bits. I mentioned earlier, there is now I've got the key. I've got the key on the Amiga version.
Have you got the secret as well?
So this is you've got the secret. If you tap T, it will make everyone's trousers fall down. So it just shows, I've got this, someone else wrote this, just shows that a black belt is only for display.
Boom, boom.
But this was so popular with the Amiga version that they had to put it to the CD32 version. You had to use a special controller button for that. The PlayStation port got it as well, like I said. It was also included in the Game Boy Advance version. And you press the select button in that as well. So, excellent. I've got a few questions. Then we'll say goodnight. Was it correct to make the PlayStation version a simple conversion of the original, or should a more ambitious remake or reboot have been made? What do you think?
Definitely the second one. Do you know what, like, when you were describing it? Mm-hmm. Well, when you kind of showed us the screenshots that reminded me of, is when CDs came out.
Mm.
And, like, the first generation of kind of CD, like, kind of versions of stuff that had been out on vinyl, was basically, like, they don't really sound good because, like, they don't really have any of the bottom, like, the bottom and top of, like, the vinyl kind of sonic thing gets kind of cut out.
Yeah.
So if you listen to stuff from the 60s, it kind of sounds wrong. So then they started remastering stuff. Mm-hmm. And what this reminds me of is that wave of kind of remastered CDs where literally all they did was take the original recordings and turn the volume up, like, a notch or two.
And stuck
and
it up in a CD.
This'll do.
Yeah.
But they might have lost a bit of the essence if they reshaped the game.
Was it a full price PlayStation game?
I don't know.
Mind you, what year was it?
2003.
2003.
I can't answer that.
Yeah,
I would think it
probably
was like a £10 game, right? 2003 PS1, because
For
they were
brand
doing
new,
that.
though, were they?
For brand new.
Yeah, maybe.
they were doing
Maybe.
that.
Surely you could have put that, like, in a batch disc with, like, a few
Well, I
other
think
some other
20
stuff.
quid or
stuff.
something. Yeah. I don't think you wouldn't have paid more than 20 quid for that.
20 quid's a lot, though.
But
For a
me,
basic
who
game.
can't play the game anymore, because I haven't got an Amiga anymore, obviously it's broken. My brother spilled lemonade on it many years ago. It was great to buy again. It was great to play again.
no,
it
it's
hasn't aged badly. And for me personally, it was not a bad investment. £15 well spent.
It's like the way they've done it would appeal to people like you had it on previous platforms.
Mm.
It's not going to appeal to PlayStation gamers at the time, is it?
Maybe.
That's why I see. It seems
I
odd
can't
that it
imagine
wasn't
it
on
have
like
sold
some
well.
kind of compilation, maybe.
Yeah,
of
maybe
older,
like a hit
of
squad
older, yeah, of
compilation,
older
maybe.
game, yeah, of older games.
Okay, that's an interesting shout.
You
I
don't
think of that.
I feel like there's a lot of space on that
Yeah,
disc.
that disc. Yeah,
Well,
a
I
lot.
thought they could add the bonus stages separately, for example.
Yeah, maybe.
But if they made new graphics, I don't know if it would lose part of its essence and part of its
They could
allure.
have just reskinned it though. I mean, obviously, like
and play the original as well.
well, you just overlay like decent graphics over the top of it.
You could, yeah, you could leave the original on there as well.
But
And
Dylan,
leave it. You
I
can
don't
like,
wanna-
switch between the two. Like.
yeah,
But earlier, I can't remember what podcast you said it. You said that a remastered Monkey Islands are a waste of time.
I know they don't. They look terrible.
So
yeah.
surely,
Well, it depends what audience you're pandering to, isn't it? With that, an early 2000s PlayStation game. I don't know.
it's a weird market, but hey, it worked on me, right?
it's a
They've
strange,
sold approximately
it's a
one
strange
copy.
release that the time it came out, and
I think maybe
it seems odd as a standalone release in 2003 on the PlayStation. That's what
Yeah,
it just seems
like-
strange.
it does seem a bit strange. I won't deny
Yeah.
that.
But I'm glad you
I'm
can play
happy.
it again.
I'm happy.
Yeah, no, I'm happy for you,
Yes.
dude. I'm happy that you can actually experience
Yeah.
the original game and you can just stick it in your PlayStation. now.
Remind me,
Whack it in.
who published the PlayStation version?
Ignition.
Who?
Ignition Entertainment, I believe.
What other kind of stuff did they do?
I didn't look actually, truthfully.
I've
Maybe
never
that
heard
was
of
just
them. I
it.
don't
Like
think they're
they
big.
just got a property. And,
Yeah, it might have been a cheap
yeah.
license or something.
Yeah. Penultimate question: have you ever played a fighting game with 3 players on the screen before? That's a bit odd, isn't it?
No.
Oh, not a head-to-head. Like obviously we've covered the Konami arcade stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's not like obviously there's countless stroll 'em ups,
Stroll 'em ups.
stroll beat 'em ups. But no, like this kind of setting, I don't think it hasn't been done since, has it?
Do you know what? That's why I like the
Actually.
game.
Oh,
He
no.
got one.
I don't know. No, I think I'm getting it wrong. I thought that Dragon on the Mega CD on the Mega Drive might have done something similar.
Well, the Bruce
Yes,
Lee, the Bruce Lee
I think
game.
you're right. Actually, that is definitely ringing a bell.
It does
I
ring a bell.
don't know. I remember that game being very bad, so I haven't played it for many moons. So
It was
we'll have
well
to revisit
reviewed,
that.
from what I can recall.
It
Yeah.
wasn't good.
Yeah,
That's an interesting
yeah,
shout. You might have got something
possible.
there. We'll look at that.
interesting.
We'll look at
Okay.
that.
Well, I don't think it's been done well since.
It has not been done well since, but I think that slight twist on a typical fighting game was what made it stand out personally a little bit. And final question, do you think Archer, or someone else, maybe Jim, for example, do you think they should look to make a new, revised, proper, like IK plus 2, or IK plus plus plus? Is there a need for a new karate game? Because, there's not many karate games out there.
Fighting games are huge business now.
I don't think it'd work on
But-
a current gen format, but if you did like a
dunno.
like a good indie game on Steam or something and just release on there, might be.
Maybe.
I think maybe
Would the-
it'd be our kind of generation who'd go for it. So it wouldn't. I don't think it'd be worth like a big budget PS4, Xbox.
How about
One
if
thing.
they said that you can make their trousers fall down the film?
I don't know. It'd be harder to hide things now with today's graphics.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
Yeah. Well, look, guys, I'm a huge fan of IK Plus. It brings back brilliant memories for me. I think I was a better karate player than I was a jiu-jitsu fighter. If you love the game, get back to us. Let us know what you think. Thank you very much.